Okay.
Like
so you're taking the under.
I would
you
take
don't
the
think
under.
we'll hit $1 million pot?
No, just because not everyone is stacked that way.
Not yet.
Yeah, that's
And we've
true.
still
I
got
mean, ask me this
5
question
hours.
in a couple hours.
Right.
Like, all right, you know what? Let me change it.
I just feel like we're trending in that direction.
You know what? Did you know there's a double straddle going on? Because that makes it more likely.
I asked the question without knowing that, by the way. And on the topic of not knowing things, we're back to mystery card action with Chen's straddle. A mystery to us. A straddle, by the way, that is pushing back on the double straddle. Elton, pocket threes, says, all right, let's take a peek.
This is a single raise pot with 53K in the middle already.
That is not the board that Elton had in mind. Ace, king, 10.
So Elizabeth Chen was the pre-flop raiser. With double straddle, this is the new small blind versus big blind, and gonna see bet 15,000. Elton doesn't have anything, but he's in there.
Won't be the first nor the last time that we say that, and the 3 of diamonds savagely rolls off on the turn. Oh, my goodness.
That's just wrong.
Well, Elizabeth checking, and by the way, that doesn't mean that she doesn't have a piece of this board, by the way. It's texture and action, whereby some of the pot control is a favorable line for a good number of the combinations that Elizabeth has. Facing the 65,000 and doing so out of position.
It's got to be interesting to Chen that Elton is betting quite large in this confrontation that's double straddled, because this board is not supposed to hit Elton, like in terms of having really big hands. So she's gonna keep him honest for now.
Another 130 into the middle. Threes full of tens on the river for Elton. And I don't think he's all that worried about being up against a bigger boat as played.
I agree. I would expect 2 pair plus to fire the turn still a lot. I guess the big question for Elton is, can my opponent have a 10? If so, then I go for all. If not, maybe I size in a way to try to get some crying calls out of my opponent. That's 215K, practically pot.
Man, these pot-sized bets polarize us.
I'm never putting my opponent on pocket threes.
No, of course not. Why would you? That's why Elton plays it this way, though, because, you know, you just never have anyone thinking that's what they're up against.
So value range that I would perceive to be up against, right? Oh, whoa. Whoa. How is she all of a sudden check jamming?
Oh, look at Elton. He snap calls. And she's got quads. A $750,000 million chip pot, is it?
It is.
Did we actually get that much in there? As we were talking about whether or not we'd get $1 million pot, we knock on the door. To the action, and we're back at the mystery card game here, brought to you by GG Poker. Linus, the hand that we're going to black out here. He's in the straddle. Hands with a couple of aces. Makes it 10 to go. Elton set mining with 6s.
So Linus with The straddle squeezes the 50K into hands. How good is this?
Well, we don't know, but for hands, it's delightful.
I wonder if Hands is thinking, can I ever slow play this? Do I let Elton in as well? Or I just 4-bet and hope Linus has got a big hand? He raised from the new under the gun, given it's a straddled pot.
Call.
Slow playing it.
Yeah, he is. And by the way, Elton, I think he's very much in the mood to set mine, get lucky, play big pots.
They're also very deep, and he's closing the action, and he's got position. You're
Yep.
right.
Over 150 in the middle. Queen, Jack, 5 board. Hands with the overpair.
So I'm not sure what line is squeezed with, but Queen, Jack, 5 texture. I would actually expect Queens to 4-bet him a lot, so he doesn't worry about that much. If he c-bets,
Oh,
yeah.
what size does he come with here? 40,000, sub 1/3 pot.
So Hands shouldn't ever be raising, I would think. Sure, it's a small bet, but he still has Elton behind. And to raise on Queen, Jack, 5 rainbow is just very rare, as you don't really represent that many bluffs so much. Feels like call's the play.
So, hands, flatting.
Elton?
No way.
No, you can't be raising 6s, can you? Okay. He had me scared for a second.
Listen, I might have bolted right out of the booth and into the sea.
Wow, that might be one of the worst cards for Hands.
I mean, he blocks ace-king.
Sure, but it's still there a little bit.
Blockers have gotten many a person in trouble throughout the years.
Yeah. You know, the thing is, if I'm Linus here, if I was bluffing, this is the turn card to continue to fire and fire once again on the river. Also, if Linus himself was holding like aces, kings, king, queen, ace, queen, they would want to slow down a lot on the turn.
But that's not what's happening as Linus actually speeds up. 75,000 now.
It's about a third pot.
I mean, the other thing is that Hands, obviously, if he is beaten, he can find a king for the nuts.
Yes, for clean outs.
The ace isn't always going to be good. Maybe there's some king, king, king X that would be out there. But the problem is aces beat those hands. You know, we're focusing on the stuff that we fall to at present. And as played, I suppose, there is some pocket queens, pocket jacks for Linus.
Of course, it's very possible Linus can have queens, jacks, even like top 2. He's king. Linus's bluffs tend to contain, what, ace 5 suited, king 10, ace 10. I think these hands would bluff. Yeah. He can't fold just because aces is just too strong. Price is good, and he's got the clean outs, like you say, to king. Oh, that's a great river card for hands, just in case he was up against queen jack. That squeezed.
Yeah, all of the Broadway combo 2 pairs fall now to our hand, but with 383,000 in the middle and 202 back.
I actually can't see a world where Linus doesn't jam this river, whether it's value or bluff. Like, if he's betting this turn, it's usually not just to let go.
Oh, he jams. And this has just gotten deeply uncomfortable for hands, Randy.
Yeah, it's not good. In terms of hands he beats, it's like I mentioned, king 10, ace 10, but he blocks a little bit of those bluffs. Queens and jacks is very, very worrisome hands he could be up against. Also, like the bluffs, ace 5, he's got 2 aces in hand. He blocks that a bit, right? Like, this is not,
How much is it?
not good.
You're talking about the pre-flop bluffs with
Yeah.
the ace 5, because obviously we fall to ace 5 now.
Yeah, exactly. True. Disgusting.
What would you do, chat? As played, staring across the way at Linus Love, all in for over $200,000. And you've got aces and 5s. Sometimes we get in our own head a little bit too, Randy.
I've got
We
aces.
slow played it pre, you know. Maybe we didn't define our hand adequately. Not a critique, by the way, of hands, but just we could have potentially avoided this murk or this line from Linus. You think he finds the call? I'm not asking whether or not you think it's good.
I understand. I think he does.
Boy, the
But
5 is such a tempter.
I know. Like, that really...
But how much queen jack, jack 10, queen 10 do we ever really think?
I don't think there's mini jack 10. I think queen jack is a little
Specifically?
bit. But, like, what if I'm up against kings? Is my opponent playing kings this way? That would be a disaster to fold against. I don't know. I don't think so, but...
Isn't there really just 2 combinations of queen jack that would make sense, and that would be clubs and diamonds, specifically?
Yeah.
Because offsuit variety doesn't feel like
I don't
it's...
think offsuit variety squeezes. You're right. Ace king you got to worry about. I know, yes, he blocks that a little bit, but it still exists. Queens, jacks.
Well, as hands works his way through this one, he's utilizing several time banks. That said, at the end of this second frame, we will refill those time banks. Oh, man.
It feels like he wants to pitch it.
Yeah, of course he wants to pitch it because the hand feels like a stone bluff catcher and nothing better in spite of the fact that its ace is up.
No flush draw was ever present.
That's a great point.
It makes you want to fold more.
And he does lay it down, and look at this. Linus, gut shot on the turn. Not the type that we anticipated, but when ace-king is blocked, king 9 ends up being the one.
Close.
Well, I didn't do a very good job of eating it because part of it landed on my white sweatpants, and for the better part of 3 pots, I've been
You've been
pouring
dousing
seltzer water on it.
My sparkling water, by the way, which you haven't returned yet. I'm thirsty.
You were done with that sparkling water, Randy. There was nothing left in it. Except your backwash, which is probably all over my sweats now.
Okay, mystery hand. 𝐿𝐿 Tsang, the holder this time.
Okay.
Limp.
This is crazy. He wants to force Elizabeth to play a pot against him. This is wicked, man. She's done so poorly against him on the day. He's like, I don't even care.
Yeah, but Paul's not going to let Elizabeth see a flop as he makes it 18K.
你可以再大
啊，
再给再大回去嘛？
这待会去会怎
对，
么办？
假装埋伏嘛。
This is almost cruel. Everybody laughing at the idea that Elton did limp in on the button with Elizabeth in the straddle. And then, of course, she's forced to fold courtesy of the Paul raise, which Elton has called. We don't know what he's got, though.
I'm telling you, no one has any idea
No.
what 𝐿𝐿 has
No.
there. Limp button, call raise. It's, yeah, you wouldn't be able to guess it. What I can tell you is that Paul is semi-interested here, right? He's flopped middle pair, top kicker, but it's really connected, and it's not something he's looking to play a big pot with. But he's happy to see 𝐿𝐿 check back. Queen on the turn makes it even worse for Paul, though.
He does have the Broadway gutty to go with what is now third pair, but it produces the four-liner and does draw a check.
Kind of feels if 𝐿𝐿 didn't have it, he should be betting this turn.
Well, if he does have it, he should be betting it as well, and that's part of the problem here for Boss against the mystery holding.
I mean, yeah, he's got 4 cleanouts, the king. Although, if he hits that hand, it's hard to get paid off more. He's going to make the call. Now he hits 2 pair.
But backdoor hearts come in, and then another path to a straight emerges. Any 9x, king x, or heart combo. And the aces and the 10s would fall. 94K in the middle.
Yeah, there's a lot of hands that Paul loses to.
Back's not lost on him as he checks it.
The way 𝐿𝐿 looks is a little bit of concern.
Unclear how authentic that look is. Now.
So about 30% pot.
Yep.
Is exactly that. It's still betting.
Boy, that's the size, too, for ace-10, isn't it?
Yeah, the one like trying to pray for a call. It's a little bit confusing, the ball, because if he was up against a 9 should be scared. And all you need is a king to make a straight now. So why is 𝐿𝐿 still betting? If 𝐿𝐿 was holding a flush, wouldn't he go bigger on a 4-liner?
One
Where
would think.
Paul has a decent amount of kings? Pre-flop action was button limp call too, which really changes things.
Remember, 𝐿𝐿 open limped the button. How much king x would he do that with? One of the things that Paul's asking himself. Would he ever do that with any ace-x that I need to worry about being better than ace-10? No. 9x feels like the one.
I don't think 9x would bet the river though.
That's also a reasonable point.
Unless it's king 9.
Right. Where it was there already. Unblocks hearts too, does boss with this combo.
Is it?
Boy, ace-8 would be a lot of thin value.
It would be very thin.
So many. How many already? 3. So 1 more. Flush. It's 9. It's
Let's see it.
Makes the call and gets shown 9-5. And
对呀，太明显。
you know,
对呀，我这是太明显，我觉得自己也太明显了那个啊。